because college application has 9 key components, and I categorize it with platform, threshold, and uniqueness. Depending on what kind of college you're applying, college look at a different level. If you're applying for highly selective, very, very competitive colleges, then they mostly would look at the uniqueness. And the threshold is just, when you pass that, then they would look at the uniqueness. That's why when we consider college list, we need to think about, what level of college we're thinking about. So let's move on to the next one. So normally, all the college application list would start from reviewing the student profile. When I review the student profile, I'm just look at the student like admission officer. So I first would look at which country you're from. Are you an international student or you're not an international student? And which state you're from if you're applying for say University of California or University of Michigan. One thing that I care a lot is whether you're in-state applicants or your out-of-state applicants, because the data is totally different. Okay. I also look at your high school profile to see, whether you're from really, really elite boarding high school that everybody knows is like a feeder school for some highly reputable colleges, or you're from a public school. It's different. So. The competition pool are different. And then I'll look at the GPA and SAT and ACT. That's why, the best time to start to think about your list is by the end of your junior year, because by the end of your junior year, you would have the most important data point, which is your high school GPA already available, right? We have your junior year, we have your sophomore year and the freshman year GPA. So we know where your GPA puts you in the competition scape. And by then, the majority of students would have their standard test score too. So that's the time to start to think about a school list. Some students, even before high school, they set their eye on MIT, they set their eye on Harvard, but that's, it's nice. And people have ambition, but, only by the end of junior year, it's probably appropriate to say, hey, are you, do you have what it takes? Do you meet the threshold? Do you meet the threshold? Are you really in that game? So that's the right time. Okay. Then I'll look at the extracurricular activity and honors, academic honors, to see if you have some extraordinary talents, some really, really impressive extracurricular activities to demonstrate your leadership and your creativity, those kind of unique character traits that some college values a lot. And for some students that very, very competitive and really into those highly, highly selective, reputable colleges. Then, like I said, once you pass those threshold, I would never look at your GPA anymore. Yeah, your GPA is 4.0, but I don't look at it. I'll look at whether your extracurricular activity and academic honors showed some demonstrated leadership, showed some creativity, and whether you have unique cultural background, and whether you have extraordinary talents, whether you overcome your life's adversity. Those are the key characteristics that some school are looking for. So I would have a basic review on those student profile. So if you're a DIY student, you should look at those to see, hey, where I am in this, and look at your profile. And then, I would spend tons of time to know the student and the family, especially to know the family's education goal for the student. Some of the family has abundant resources, and they want their kids go to a college to build the network, to have the experience, to seek for life's meanings. But they really don't care that much about majors or whether the kids would be able to find a job by their college major. So those kind of family, I would advise them to more leaning toward liberal art college, or some majors that are more, liberal art related majors. But some of the students come from a family that their education goal is to go to a college to equip themselves for future job, to learn some hard skills. So these are different education goals. Of course, everybody should have both goals, but some students and family leaning toward hard skills, job, care tons of it. And so then I need to know that. Okay. And the step two is, once you have your you know, once we know the student profile, we determine the list driver. If we want to generate a school list, we need to know the criteria for selecting schools. So I would conduct a survey. I would go for details in the next few slides about those survey that I would conduct. And after we know the list, we would generate the schools, and this generate the list. And generate list, we will categorizing them. We will categorize them by 3 categories. And this is super, super important. If you don't categorize your schools, it's very dangerous for the results. Okay, we move to the next one. So like I said, it's a dynamic process. Your version 1 is you have your main criteria layout. You have a very long list. You could have 15 school. You could have 20 school if it's a long list, right? And among this long list, I would ask my student to confirm a few schools to get their application started, because you need to write your main essay. You need to write a few supplemental essays. So, and then, you need to confirm your early decision score, make a commitment, big decision in your school list. And then, you confirm some of the RD school, regular decision school, regular school, in case your early decision failed. And also, that's very important. You can't wait. You can wait until middle of December to start working on RD school. So you need to work early on. And then, when the early results out, you could be a happy, Christmas. You got in your ED school, your project ends. If you didn't get into your ED school, you need to decide whether you do ED2 or not. And also you needed to tweak your RD school based on your early results. You may add a bunch of RD schools, by then. Okay. So this is a timeline. Like I said, by the end of the junior year, you should have your criteria, and then you working on your early school, University of California and the University of Washington, Seattle always have early. They call it regular, but their deadline is earlier than the majority of schools. One is November 15th, the other is November 31st. So you need to work on in October, November to work on those West Coast schools. And then November, December, you work on your regular school. And maybe, just a plan to make one of your regular school become a ED2 school if your ED didn't go as you